Today's episode is all about Photoshop 101 and I have 10 tips that you should know when you want to learn the basic designing in Photoshop. I am Franco Paulia from Parañaque, Metro Manila, Philippines, and I'm here in Qatar for almost 6 years. And I am a graphic designer with 12 years of experience in branding and motion graphics. And today's episode is all about Photoshop 101. So Adobe Photoshop is a graphic design software that helps you to create raster files or pixels like photo editing, social media posts, digital drawing. I mean, you can do almost everything in Photoshop. But before I give you my 10 tips, you have to ask yourself first, what is the importance of learning this software? What I'm trying to say is, do you want to learn because you just want to add that as a skill? Or you can feel that you can develop and expand, that you have a career in graphic designing later on? So let's start and give you my 10 basic tips here in Photoshop 101. So this is tip number 1. Photoshop is all about layers. So go to File, then New, then Default Paper Size, which is A4. As you can see, I'm in the same background and I'm going to draw a stick man. And I cannot move it at all, as you can see, because it is in the same lock layer. So I'm going to make a multiple layers and draw a stick man again. Now I can move it at all. I can move it anywhere. As you can see, as I highlighted this area, this is called the layer stack. You always have to focus here in layer stack when working in Photoshop. This is so important because you already recognize which layer are you working on. As you can see, I have an artwork with 3 layers, the word joyful, the boy, and the background. Now I'm going to move the word joyful, and as you can see, the text covers the boy and the background because it is on the top of layer stack. Same way for the boy as I move it around the background. When you want to move your layer from top to bottom, all you have to do is press Ctrl plus open or close bracket for PC and Command plus open or close bracket for Mac. This part is the layer visibility, or as I call the eye. You notice when I turn off the eye on that layer, it disappears on the work area. You can edit and move it as one layer, like pressing V for brush, then press V to move your layer. About the text layer, first you have to raster the file so you can edit it as well by right-clicking on that layer, then raster type. As you can see, I can draw and do whatever I want. By selecting a layer, I manually select it on layer stack. You can also check or uncheck the auto select menu on the upper left, so you can direct select your layer or right-clicking your cursor and choose a desired layer. This is tip number 2, shortcuts and hotkeys. Working with shortcuts can help you to speed up your working process and productivity. The more you know shortcuts, the more you can multitask and make your work efficiently. And here are some default shortcuts in Photoshop, as you can see on the screen. Now let me share you my few shortcuts, but very useful. Like Control or Command N for new canvas, Control or Command O for opening a file, Control or Command J for duplicating a layer, B for brush, T for typography, M for selection marquee, and Control or Command S for saving. You can also choose Control or Command Shift S for save as. For tip number 3, the basic move tools. I have to mind you first that you have to select a desired layer before using the move tool. After that, you can move your layer in a way you want it. You can also move your layer straight perfectly like horizontal, vertical, or even in a slant way. You can move a layer in a short distance by pressing left, right, up, and down. But you can also move a layer 9 times more by adding a shift when you press left, right, up, and down. You can also move a layer into another canvas. If you want to move it in the same area or position, just hit shift while dragging the layer. Mind you that both canvas should be in the same size and resolution. Tip number 4, marquee options. Marquee is like a broken line marker which can create a layer or copy pasting and delete a portion or an entire layer. By pressing M, hold your mouse in any direction with the options of rectangular marquee, elliptical marquee, single row marquee, and single column marquee. When you want to remove the marquee selection, just click outside the marquee or right click, then deselect. You can also make a multiple marquees by holding shift. Now, let's go to our layer and modify by using marquee. You can either duplicate a portion or the whole layer by right-clicking your mouse. These are some options like layer via copy. The duplicate goes to new layer on the top while preserving the previous layer. Layer via cut. The duplicate goes to new layer on the top but took a part of the previous layer depending on the size of the previous marquee. In addition, right-click on your mouse and go to select inverse. Then right-click again. Then you can select and apply to layer via copy or layer via cut into inverted marquee selection. Another option when you right-click on your mouse in a marquee selection is feather. On the feather selection, the higher the pixels, you will notice the corner of your marquee would look rounded. If you try to delete it, you will notice the marquee corners are softened. You can also change the feather selection here in the feather menu and adjust the pixels. Another thing, you can also put a color in your marquee selection. Make a marquee selection, then click on the paint bucket icon or press G. You have the option of paint bucket or gradient when you right-click the paint bucket icon. This is tip number 5, color adjustments. If you have a layer or image or any raster layers that you want to change like brightness, contrast, or colors, just go to Image, Adjustment, and you will find a plenty of options. But for me, I usually go for hue, curves, color balance, invert, selective, and replace color. I normally use shortcut or hotkeys to speed up my color adjustments, like Control or Command plus U for hue, Control or Command plus M for curves, Control or Command plus B for color balance, Control or Command plus I for invert. You can also customize shortcuts by going to Edit, Keyboard Shortcuts, then Application Menus. For example, if you want to change the shortcut for curves adjustment, just go to Image, scroll down and look for curves, and click the default shortcut and change it to, let's say, F5 and click OK. Tip number 6, Transform Tools. To resize an image or a layer, you must activate Free Transform by pressing Ctrl or Command plus T or click the Show Transform controls. Press this Move tool icon or press Escape to move or modify your layer. By doing Ctrl or Command plus T, you see these options: Scale, Rotate, Skew, Distort, Perspective, Warp, Rotate 180 degrees, Rotate 90 degrees clockwise, Rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise, Flip horizontal, Flip vertical. Except branding or product design executions, do not distort the proportion of your image or layer when resizing as much as possible. And this is like a mortal sin for designers. Always add shift while resizing. Tip number 7, brush tools. To activate brush tool, press B. You can draw anything and changing the tip size of your brush by pressing open or close bracket. Click on the Set Foreground Color for color picker. Press X for switching foreground to background color. You can also change the soft and hardness of the brush tip by right-clicking. In this brush tip option, you will see plenty of default brushes that you can use. But usually, I go on these first two boxes right here. The soft brush and the hard brush. As you noticed when I draw something, there is like a circle bumps. You can adjust it by clicking this icon, then adjust the spacing. You can also adjust the angle of your brush tip by hold pressing the two circular points. To customize brushes, just go to File, then New, or Control, or Command plus N. Your file size should be not more than 2500 by 2500 pixel. Then hit OK. To create a customized brush, you should use black color. Then go to either soft or hard brushes. Then draw or create a desired brush. For me, I will draw a figure of 8. Then go to Edit, define brush preset, rename the brush, and hit OK. Now you can change it to whatever color you want. You can also download free customized brushes from the internet. The file should be ABR. For example, set a brush folder in your desktop. On your Photoshop, press B, then right-click. Go to Load Brushes, find the downloaded brush, then open. Scroll down and you will find the brush that you had downloaded from the internet. You can also reset your brushes by right-clicking, then Reset Brushes. Then hit OK, then don't save. Beside drawing or customizing brushes, you can also make straight lines. Press B for brush, click once on the side, then hold Shift and click to whatever direction you like to create a perfect line. For tip number 8, Color Picker and Eyedropper tool. Color Picker is a quick tool to select a desired color for your layer. To set a color for raster layer, create a new layer or Control or Command plus Shift plus N. For marquee selection, it could be on the same layer or Control or Command plus Shift plus N for new layer. Then make a marquee. Click the Color Picker tool or set foreground color. Choose a color, then either hit B for brush or press G for paint bucket tool. For vector layers, you can set the color by pressing U for shapes, then double-click on the layer and choose a color you like and hit OK. For customized vector shapes, press P for pen tool. In this area, it should be selected as a shape. Then click to create and double-click on the layer. Choose a color, then hit OK. To copy a color percentage, press I for eyedropper. You can have the option of creating a marquee selection, then press B for brush, or press G for paint bucket tool. For vector shapes, press U, then create a shape, then double-click the layer, and select the desired color. This is tip number 9, Be patient with pen tool. We love to create artworks or simple ads with images or pictures. Usually we get PNG files from the internet because it doesn't have a background and it plays perfectly as an artwork. But sometimes, when you find an image that you really like but it has a background, pen tool will help you with that. For example, I have an image of an apple with a background. All I have to do is press P or click this icon for pen tool. Make sure you're inside the apple because if you are tracing it on the edge, your image will include some parts of the background and it doesn't look good as a crop image. So again, press P for pen tool. Click on the other corners, then hold and drag to make a curved path. Make sure to zoom in and out to see if you're tracing it properly. If you want to undo, just press Ctrl or Command plus Z. To go back more further, press Ctrl or Command plus Shift plus Z. By pressing spacebar will help you to move your work area so you can trace it properly. You can also add or subtract points by pressing plus or minus key in every points. Then click a point that you want to adjust while holding Ctrl or Command. Or in any way, press A and click and drag to any direction if you did not add or subtract points. Then click and repeat the process from the corners of the apple. Mind you that the more precise or traced the image closely, you will achieve a better and sharper image for your ad post or artwork. To close the path, you will see a circle icon, then click. Press Ctrl or Command plus Enter to convert it to Marquee tool. Then click Select Inverse to delete the background. And lastly, tip number 10, blending options. As we went to the basic tips in Photoshop, we learned the importance of layer, draw or colorize with brushes, and create custom shapes. Now let's play around with effects. Go to your layer, then click this icon. And it has a bunch of layer styles to choose from. The most common effects are color overlay is to colorize your layer. Drop shadow, obviously to put shadows inside or outside of your layer. Outer glow is to create a glowing effect. You can colorize it as well. Stroke helps you adjust the thickness and colorize the border. To remove a layer effect within the blending options or layer style, right-click on the layer, then clear layer style. To copy and paste a layer to a different layer, right-click on the layer, then copy layer style, then go to a desired layer, and right-click, then paste layer style. You can also edit multiple layers by selecting one by one, or select all with the shortcut of Ctrl or Command plus Option plus A. Then copy and paste or clear layer style of an activated layer. And for the bonus tip, there are times when you had to work on something, but you cannot think of a good design. The thing is, you can find some design inspirations in the internet, like design compositions, the latest color combinations, or even interesting typographies, which can help your designs to become more effective to your audience. But you have to remember one thing. Don't copy the exact design because you will be in trouble for stealing an artwork or copyright infringement. Another tip for you to have a light bulb: go outside. Find some inspirations outdoors. You will never know, maybe a coffee house or in the park. For sure, something will come up instead of staying long in your computer. And that would be my 10 basic tips for Photoshop 101. And always practice. Try one baby step at a time until you unleash your potential as a graphic designer someday. Please do comment below if you have any helpful tips or any suggestions for those who want to learn the basic knowledge in Photoshop.